Okay, sorry about the bummer of a post I made yesterday, but you know, guess you know me. I gotta be me. I wanted to show you what I've been working on. This right here is the double bed that's got the curved head and foot boards. And then I have been working on these pieces. You can see I've got another copy over here um, for the furniture. Um, and you can see over here, I still need to. No, wait, I think I fitted that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Did I fit that? No, that's not fitted. Maybe it is. I need to go through and make sure they're fitted. Also, you can tell here, these are the pieces. These are the large pieces that I use over here to do my Katie math. These little curved pieces in here. I went ahead and made a copy of it. Anytime I make something that I'm like, I think I might need to have a copy of that or an extra one laying around, I'll make an extra one just to have a copy. I'll also go to, I have, it's basically kind of a landing page. It's where I keep anything. Like I did this design and I liked it. I don't think it's going to work for one of these beds. So I liked it, but so I kept it. So I have like the little sketch of it. This is where I keep little extras of everything in case I want to use it. Like this little piece right here was the top part of the Monnier wardrobe, but I decided I didn't like the look of it, so I wanted to change it. But I didn't want to throw away all this work, so I kept it. And even though I've gone in and changed a bunch of things around, I've kept these little bits here. So I have these around as little places where I stash things. And in fact, I think I'm going to grab some of these things and stash them over there. But what I've been spending, I probably have spent the last 6 hours on, because I spent most of the morning making sure everything was even with those little color block stripes, making sure everything was even. And then I spent the rest of the time working on the header and the footer designs. I had a slightly different design prior to this one. And the reason I changed it is because I started putting this one together, these little footer pieces, these little pieces designed for the bottom part, and I didn't like the fact that they didn't match the top part. And good Lord, it seems like this would take not take quite as long, especially when I can kind of just come in and grab something and, make a copy of it and then flip it. But there's also, stuff that little details and little bits and pieces that need to be added in. And it's just, how do I even say this? It just sometimes takes a long time to do these. Because I'll put a piece in and it'll look right, or I'll design it from the right. I'll almost always start on the right. And I'll design it for the right, and then I flip it to left, and I don't like the way that it looks. So I try to go back and forth to make sure my pattern looks okay. There's still some things in here I don't like. I don't like this right here. I think I may increase this. Well, this is a copy. Let's see if I can go in here and just grab this. Because within this program, I'm basically, this is drawing a spiral, and then I have some other things up here that I can change them around a little. And you'd think it's like, whoa, this is like super duper easy. And it's like, well, it is and it isn't. It's way easier to draw it. But then there's finding the right kind. Because, sometimes I want to increase things. Sometimes I'm looking for something a little smaller. I tend to be more fond of ones like this with the little curly bit on the inside. But let's see, this is a grouped bit. I can still grab it with my, like with this one, I think it just needs to be a little bit bigger. I think I had decreased it because I wanted something a little less, but now that I'm looking at it, it needs to be more. So it's these little fiddly teensy weensy bits, and like when you see all these little rough edges in here, all of this is me drawing lines and filling things in. So if, let's say, I'm just gonna plunk a line right there, and so I want to, let's flip this around, because this is the other part. It's like, then I've got to get it, like, where do I want it exactly? I need to make sure that I like rounded ends instead of things like, I don't like that at all. I think that's yucky. That all of the little tail ends are going in. They aren't like that. I mean, that would drive me nuts. So there's going back through those. And then to add in kind of this, wrong way, shadowy line, I'm going in and adding smaller lines. I think I get that down. I think one. Yeah, that should do it. And then coming in and manipulating them to go the direction that I want them to create the kind of shadowy effect that I want. And then sometimes there's this. So then I need to go in and then make sure that there is no outline and that the fill is black. But then you can see here there's a little bit of a hump, so then I need to grab this tool and go in, see if I can ease that back a little bit, and then maybe just take that down a notch. But then this little piece here is too straight, so then I need to move this up a bit because I want it to curve. So then I'm going to need to come in here and grab this and this. And then let's grab that and move that over. And that's one completed. So you can see that when I'm working on something like this took me the better part of 2.5 hours. This up here, I had laid it in before lunch. I'd gotten most... I knew what size I wanted to use, and I'd gotten some pieces laid in, but I was concentrating more on these little humpy bumpy parts, these little, they look like lady fingers to me. So I'm kind of looking at the pattern that I did yesterday, the decorations that I did yesterday. I still want to add something in here, but it's not going to be patterned. It's not going to be like super patterned. And then I decided when I started laying in all these straight lines that these needed to be curved here. So there's kind of this, like, I don't know. I think it's, if you could say it was Art Nouveau-esque, it's really Art Nouveau via the 60s. And you know, I've been looking at a lot of John Alcorn's work, and what's his name? The illustrator that I found that I really liked, but then I really didn't like his modern work. I liked his stuff from the 60s. I've got his name written down. So I think I'm taking my influence more from that. So I need to finish the tops and bottoms of these, lay it, and then what I'm going to do is do a copy paste and a flip, and then I got to go through and make sure these all fit. These pieces are going to be much less involved. I'm not sure. They may have like one thing in the corner and then something up here at the top, maybe something here at these corners, but it'll be something more like this, something teeny tiny. And then I'll lay in the other stuff. So, yeah, I like where it's going. I think that there's, okay, I gotta save. let's see. I want to open up single bright curved because I'm sorry this is shaking too. I worked yesterday and finished up. Sorry, it's having to think. Sometimes when I'm working in this program, I have to stop and do not totally frequent, but semi-frequent. Like if there's something where I'm doing, pardon me, a lot with a lot of pattern and doing a lot of copying and pasting, because like over here in my layers palette, you can see every line has a numeric code attached to it. Anything that's in a file folder means I've taken small pieces like these two here and I've linked them together. I've locked them together. Like these little pair of scissors did the same thing. This one, you can see there's a similarity with some of the curved design. And again, this was taking it off of kind of that 60s kind of. This was more of like 60s looking at like through the lens of the 60s, like old Nickelodeons and merry-go-rounds and those sorts of things I was looking at. Because you can see here, I just did the little tiny separate lines, and then I did some other things in here. This is what was driving me nuts yesterday. Because when you're doing anything on a curve, like up to here, these are all like linked together. Everything is pretty even. And then when you do the curve, I had to stop and do each one by one. And even though it's a copy paste, it's copy paste. And then I've got to go and make it fit. Make it fit. And then because I don't want everything, one of the things that I'm doing is I don't want my designs to be perfectly symmetrical, because part of this intrigues and bothers me up here. This part kind of looks like a fish here, which gives me ideas for other sorts of things. I didn't do any measuring on this. I did it all by eyeball. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't like computer artwork that is so completely perfect, especially with this kind of super like this is not, I mean, in the hands of an expert, this program can do fabulous things. In the hands of me, not so much. So I don't want it to be completely perfect. I want it to have some bits in here that are a little wonky and don't match up, you know, perfectly. I'm doing a lot of stuff by eye, unless it is centering a piece. I do try to make sure that that is completely centered, so I'm not like looking at it. And like I said, I flip things back and forth to make sure that I'm getting things fairly even. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. And sometimes it can just, you know, it's finally dark outside and I'm like, oh, this is taking way longer. I think I want this little bit here to be tufted. I think that's what I want. I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. And this one is the larger bed, and I figured out, oh wait, I forgot to lay in those lines. I've got that copy somewhere. I need to lay in the lines here, and then whatever I put in here for pattern. I kind of have an idea of what I might want to use for a pattern. I got to lay these lines. You know, this is a 565, a 365, a 265, and probably a 465 if I'm looking at it, millimeter line. And then I've got to lay them into here because this is the piece that will show. These are not going to show. However, I did draw them there because if they do show, I want them to have lines on them. Okay, enough of that. So that's what I'm doing. I still haven't touched the desk yet. Which kind of, it's not that it scares me or anything, it's just that there are so many moving parts to this desk. Let's see, let me show you the desk. It's, I don't think, did I put the desk in here? That's radial symmetry. No, I didn't put this one in here. I think I might have put this one in here. Let's see, original Inkscape, chest of drawers, dressing table, desk. Oh yeah, I did a dressing table. I need to make sure I get a copy of that one too. Because I like the mirrors in that one a lot. Hello. And you can see I've got, in this one I used gray as the little measurement parts. So, here's the table. Here's this part that I need to take this bottom piece off of. This needs to be increased a little bit. I have more ideas for all kinds of things. The table ended up working out really well. So it's just this one's actually going to be furniture like this, where I know I'm just going to actually just lay it in with a paint, the painted paper underneath, like a scan of it. I'm going to put that in, or paint other kinds of painted colors, or just paint the whole thing myself. This is way easier to do because it's just, I mean, once the design is done, then it's just a matter of figuring out where you're going to put some things. I do need to put some caps in here, some lines here, and I think I'll just drop in a 4 or 5 or something that extends all the way along the side. That'll help out with that. So then these pieces will all have, these 4 pieces will have their own piece of wood under that, and I can hide the seam of where that wood changes right there. If that makes any sense. I'm always thinking about where to hide stuff. Okay, I have hammered on too much. So that's what I'm working on right now. I really do kind of like what this looks like, which of course means it's going to take me forever and a day. So thank you, patrons. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video.